were 2 weeks away from opening back in 2020. So yeah, it was just a really heartbreaking experience at that point. So I'm just really thankful that we could come and remount the show and finally present it to audiences.
Hi, my name is Charlene Crawford, and I'm the production manager here at Gallery 7 Theatre. Today I'm joined by the cast and the director of the show to talk a little bit about the rehearsal process and our upcoming production of The Secret Garden. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Charlene. How's it going?
Good. For those who don't know, Ken Hildebrandt is our executive artistic director and the production director for Secret Garden. So thanks for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule to be here today.
Thanks for letting us turn the tables a little bit here so that someone else could do the interview for a change.
I am happy to do it. So, Ken.
Yes.
Why The Secret Garden of all the musicals in the world?
So The Secret Garden has been in my back pocket for a number of years now, and as many people who follow Gallery 7 know, this was supposed to be part of our 2019-2020 theater season, but a few other things happened right around that time which prevented us from actually putting that show on the stage. And I kind of had the attitude that if we chose it once but couldn't do it, why wouldn't we choose it again? But also partly because you know, we wanted to honor the audiences that wanted to see it. We wanted to honor the cast that was involved with it, and so it just seemed really, really important to me and to the theater to make sure that we gave this production the due attention that it needed, which is a fully staged show. So I'm excited that we're finally here and able to do it.
I'm really excited too, because I think, if I can speak on behalf of Gallery 7, we were really sad when we couldn't do this show, and I think it's really great that now we get to see it breathe life again.
We were 2 weeks away from opening back in 2020, so yeah, it was just a really heartbreaking experience at that point. So I'm just really thankful that we could come and remount the show and finally present it to audiences. And I think it's going to be pretty timely too, because there's some parallels between the story of the characters and I think what we've all collectively gone through as a community. But I think that audiences are in for a really cathartic experience and a really healing experience, but also a really celebratory experience, because the play does celebrate life and renewal and regeneration. So it's very cool.
That is very cool. Mm-hmm. So Ken, tell us, musicals, not the same as a straight play, and Gallery 7 doesn't do 4 musicals a year. So what is the biggest challenge for you in directing a musical versus a straight play?
So one of the biggest challenges is being able to break up the play into its component pieces and make sure that they all get their due attention. In this particular musical, the music is particularly challenging. It's some of the most beautiful music that you'll hear in a Broadway musical, but it's also tricky for the actors, and I'm just really thankful that we have such a talented cast tackling that. And then we have the choreography, which is, you know, requires special attention. There's some dance numbers in the show and movement sequences. And then you have to dig into the characters. It's a very character-driven show. So being able to mine the characters a bit more, finding out what makes them tick and what is their sort of story arc in the story, that all needs its attention. And we don't have months and months and months to be able to work on all of these things. So a challenge is making sure that you give each component the attention that they need, but then be able to do it in a more constrained time schedule. And once again, I know I've said it a couple times already, but I'm so thankful that we have such an incredibly talented cast and crew that's tackling the show. I mean, it does help a little bit that we solved most of the issues in staging the show 3 years ago, so we're using that as a foundation. But then because we have mostly a new cast, we're using that just as a foundation and then building a fresh performance out of that. But it definitely helps having some of the other pieces of the show already either built, like sets and costumes, and also sort of like an idea of the staging. But it's going to be a really exciting show, I think, though. It makes all of those challenges worth it in the end.
That's awesome. Speaking of challenges, let's flip it. What's been one of your favorite moments in rehearsal?
You know, one of my favorite things about rehearsal is actually coming to rehearsal and working with this cast and crew, including the stage manager, Brittany Zuderman. Even though she gives me she has to keep me on task. Yeah, it's been very fun working with them. Like I haven't done creative work for a while, and I come to rehearsal and they're just such a warm group of people that it just puts a smile on my face. And then we explore scenes together, we create together, and then I come home feeling energized in that I kind of feel like, yes, this is why I got into theater in the first place. And that's been the most fun part.
Awesome. Tell us why we should come and see The Secret Garden.
I think you should come see The Secret Garden because I think your spirits are going to be lifted. I think your hearts are going to be warmed. You're going to see a story about forgiveness, a story about renewal, of redemption, of family, and of home. And I think you're just going to be really amazed by the beautiful music and this really wonderful cathartic production we've put together. That's a lot, but I think it's going to be worth it.
Thanks so much for being with us here today, Ken.
Thanks for having me.
And we hope you will join us March 17th to 25th at the Abbotsford Arts Centre for The Secret Garden.